Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and joining me to talk about NFL draft prospect quarterback Spencer Rattler coming out of South Carolina, the very talented William Yanish III. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. Another beautiful day in Colorado out here.
I feel you. It's nice here in Georgia. The sun is out, the birds are chirping, the pollen is in excess, but we're hanging in there nonetheless. But let's get into it, man. I'll go ahead and give you the ball. I'll give you the rock so you can take it to the end zone. What do you think about Spencer Rattler? Where do you think he would land? What do you think are some of his good intangibles? And what's your
Hold
team?
on, I'm having.
Let's see. Oh, you got. Let's see. You good to go?
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Are we all good to go? Looks like we might have gotten some technical difficulties. And William, if you can hear me, just chime in whenever you want to, my friend. But I will go ahead and just give my analysis first. And if, like I said, if you can hear me, just chime in and I'll halt it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you. I just don't know if you can hear me, which that seems how it is. But that's the thing with live production is sometimes things just go awry. But that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help out. And as producer and also as co-host, just kind of wing things and have them go as smooth as we can. Let's see. How we doing, Willie? Can you hear me now? Still nothing?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I still think you can hear me. But it's yeah. I'm just gonna keep going, man. Talking about Spencer Rattler, this guy's impressive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy is special. Someone who a lot of people here on the channel, Daniel Kelly, and a lot of people, behind a lot of keyboards and whatnot, are saying is the potential top quarterback in this draft. And a lot of people say that's kind of a hot take. But we're not here to convince you if he is the first number one quarterback in the draft. We're just here to talk about his abilities as a quarterback, what we've seen from him, his abilities, how he's able to roll, how he's able to toss the ball with the best of them, and really just get it done on the field. And I think that Spencer Rattler, when you look at him, coming at 6 feet, 211 is the height and weight for him. Seniors, we know, South Carolina. And when you look at just some of his intangibles, right? When you look at how he is as a player, we got to go all the way back, I think, to high school, because Spencer Rattler was, in a sense, kind of a social media icon, and really just had a lot of hype around him, even in high school. And this guy is someone who had, tons and tons and tons of buzz around him, because he was, if you guys remember back in the day, I say back in the day, but a couple years ago, he was the main focal point for the Netflix show QB1. So he's always had that chip on his shoulder and that kind of a bigger picture, a way that he had a lot of pressure on him, a lot of people looking at him to succeed. And I think that when you look at Spencer Rattler as a quarterback, it hasn't been all sunshine and roses. He's had his ups. He has his downs as well. But we're here today to look at the complete picture and figure out just what he's about and talk about how he has done in college. So, as we all know, started off in Oklahoma with the Sooners, was doing some good work there. And then we all know the story. We've all heard about it for the past handful of years. Spencer Rattler kind of struggling and was then replaced in Oklahoma and then transferred to South Carolina, where he's been since 2022. And, he's kind of quietly, in a sense, has had really good work. I think that Rattler is, when you look at South Carolina, they're a solid program. Everyone knows about them, obviously. But no one says South Carolina, that's a powerhouse. But with Spencer Rattler, he put up solid numbers, over 3,000 yards in 22 and over 3,000 again in 23. Touchdowns, he had 19 this past year, 18 the year before. Also cut down on his interceptions this past year. Only had 8 as opposed to 12 in the year prior. But when you look at just his body of work and his intangibles, is he's got maybe the best arm in this draft. And that's just based on power, that's based on accuracy. And when I say accurate, I mean pinpoint accuracy. And this guy can throw the ball in the tightest of windows, and he can also just bomb it downfield if you need to. I think that overall, Spencer Rattler is a great quarterback, and he's got that good zip to the ball. He's a good athlete. He can run when he needs to. He's not afraid to as well. But I think when you just look at the body of work, that Spencer Rattler is one of the most versatile quarterbacks in this draft, and that's why a lot of people are touting him as a top quarterback and as potentially the quarterback number one, as opposed to Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, Drake Mays, Michael Penix Jr.'s of the world, who are getting, I would say, a lot more media attention. But a lot of people here on the channel, a lot of people online also think that Spencer Rattler is a gamer and has all the traits to, I would say, even take a higher step above in the National Football League as he did in his college career. But William, if you're there, if you can hear me, go ahead and just give me your thoughts on Spencer Rattler.
Oh, I'm back now. Yeah, for
Yep.
sure, man. This is definitely he's one of the best quarterbacks in this draft. He is one of my big three. I never put an order on him, just for that reason. But I've got May, I've got Spencer Rattler, and I've got Michael Pratt out of Tulane. But Spencer Rattler is, he's a completely underrated quarterback. He's fought through adversity, coming from Oklahoma and what happened with Lincoln Riley and, the whole Caleb Williams situation. But, and I mean, this kid fought through everything, he ends up going to South Carolina. And I mean, at South Carolina, let's just say, that they don't have the greatest athletes in the world. And if, Spencer Rattler was behind, the line at Oregon or, Georgia or Washington or any of those, I mean, even Michigan, anything like that, I mean, you would have a Heisman Trophy caliber, quarterback here. I mean, what he does well, I mean, he tried to do too much at South Carolina. And like I said, it didn't have a whole lot to work with. But I mean, Jim Nagy at the Senior Bowl, came out and said that there are several NFL teams that have a starting quarterback grade on him, in the NFL, and that puts him in the first round, no matter how you look at it. I mean, the kid, I mean, he does everything well. He doesn't let anything bother him. I mean, he's got more arm talent than most of these guys in this draft, outside of May and a couple of the others. But like I said, he's going to go higher than what everybody has him rated as. They're talking like second, third round. That's not going to happen. I mean, he's probably going to end up someplace with a coach like Sean Payton in Denver. I mean, I can see Denver, doing that. And I mean, that would be an excellent opportunity for Rattler to succeed, at the next level with, a coach like Sean Payton or, whoever ends up drafting him. But, I mean, it's going to be to his advantage that, he's not getting the hype of all those, real top guys, May and Caleb Williams and all them. And I mean, because he's going to end up with likely a better situation on a better team, I mean, there's not much, not to like about the kid. I mean, fights through everything. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like I said, my editor Daniel Kelly, I mean, thinks the absolute world of him, and I can definitely understand that. I mean, this kid has everything you want to be as a starter in the league. And I mean, that's about all I have to say about that. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, he's someone who has had a lot of attention throughout his career. Like I mentioned, he was on a Netflix show for God's sake back in the late 2010s, and he's had a lot of good, a lot of bad. A lot of people have very strong opinions about him, one way or another. But you can't deny William. He's a talented guy. He's a talented player, and he's someone who, as we're saying, is going to go to a team a little bit later on in the draft, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There are some teams late in the draft who could use his services, as you mentioned, potentially in Denver. I think that'd be a great fit. And as long as you can, I would say, put the pieces around him, and because like you said, South Carolina, they had some good players. They had Xavier Legette, but they needed just a little bit more. They needed some other attacks, so that way it wasn't just Spencer Rattler and one other guy maybe, and that was it. He needs a little bit more work and a little bit more help around him, and I think that he's someone who could definitely thrive at the next level. But I think this guy is someone that you need to look out for, and someone who could do some damage if he goes to the right team. But we'll see, man. We'll see in just about less than a month where he goes, and I think that Spencer Rattler is someone who I would definitely be keeping my eye on. Someone who could be someone who isn't getting a whole lot of love at the moment, not as much as some of the other players who are going to be drafted above him, it seems, but could be the guy who has the best career just based on his raw talent alone. Well, for Mr. William Yanish, I've been your host, producer, Logan Landers. Guys, thank you so much for checking us out today on our social media channels, being Facebook and YouTube, and our podcast available every single week as well. Until next time, we'll talk to you.